Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this morning I was going through all the stories I was looking to talk about this morning, and I realized that they're all interconnected. All these MAGA stories, what's going on in the MAGA universe, they're all interconnected. Actually, last night I started to think, I was looking through the news stories, what I was going to talk about today, and I started to think about the drones. Geez, all of a sudden, just like that, the drone story just evaporated. Not a peep about drones. 2 weeks ago, it was drones this, drones that, China, people want to shoot at them and capture them and chase them. Yesterday, not a peep on social media, not a peep anywhere. It was just a fad, just something cool to talk about, just something. This is what I really thought. I really think that I don't think the MAGA world is really all that stupid. Maybe they are, but I think it was just another thing to go after the current administration, just to go after government about, just another paranoid conspiracy theory that the government's not telling us the truth and they're spying on us, and their whole conspiracy-minded thinking. And I started thinking, okay, so I was right, basically, because I basically, in some videos, I said, look, I think this thing with the drones and the Republicans and the MAGA Trump supporters complaining and conspiracy, all these theories about these drones, I said on videos, I said, this is probably just another thing like the Venezuelan gangs breaking into Colorado apartments. Remember that? Venezuelan gangs taking over the Colorado apartments. And then there was the story about the Hells Angels, because all of a sudden Trump supporters were all for the Hells Angels, all for a motorcycle gang going to Colorado. And I realized this actually connects to the whole Elon Musk MAGA war that's going on in the last couple of days on Twitter or on X. I'll get to that in a second. So MAGA got all behind the Hells Angels. Why? Because they're a good, strong American gang going to fight the foreigners, going to fight the immigrants, And all of a sudden I realized, okay, so there's this Elon Musk MAGA, the old MAGAs against the new MAGAs, this civil war going on X right now. Elon Musk was talking about how he wants the H-1B visas. And Vivek Ramaswamy agreed with him. Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are basically saying that Americans culturally are kind of stupid and lazy. That's basically what they said. And if we want to compete in the world, we're going to have to get brain power from around we're going to have to get brain power from around the world, not just Americans. We're not, for engineers and technical jobs. And the old MAGA crowd, like Laura Loomer, Cat Turd on X. Cat Turd, by the way, is a famous MAGA supporter. Turns out he's an overweight, bald guy sitting in his mother's basement, literally. And he's a big Trump supporter. And he was talking about Elon Musk. And he calls Elon Musk a talentless hack. A bald, big, overweight Trump supporter sitting in his mother's basement calls Elon Musk. So I'm just, people like me are just sitting back and just loving this civil war, watching the two sides of MAGA tear themselves apart over basically who's more racist. Okay, so I thought about this, and it actually goes back to the Hells Angels and the Venezuelan gangs. Because if you think about it, the MAGA Trump supporters actually supported the Hells Angels because they were going they supported the American gang going to beat up the gang of immigrants, supposedly. And it's just like with the Elon Musk and hiring the H-1B visas. It actually, if you think about it, Hells Angels, I told you guys before, I've been to Hells Angels clubs. And Hells Angels are notorious for, they're not good guys. They're notorious. How do you think they make their money? By their clubhouse, their motorcycles. They are notorious for trafficking and dealing in drugs, specifically methamphetamine. For decades, this has been their thing, their job. And Trump supporters are all complaining about how fentanyl is killing Americans, and it's these Mexican mafia gangs bringing it into America. When the truth is too that there's Hell's Angels transporting it all across the country. but because they're American gangs, then they're great. So their racism actually extends to gangs. You know, the good old American gangs are better than the foreign gangs. Okay, so like I said, you know, the Venezuelan gangs taking over the Colorado apartments. That was bull. It just disappeared. It evaporated. Then supposedly the Hells Angels were supposed to go and kick butt, the Venezuelan gangs. And MAGA was all cheering. They had these videos all over. I'll put links down below. These supposed videos from like 10, 20 years ago, actually, in reality, that were supposedly Hells Angels traveling from all over the country to, you know, good old Americans going to remove these Venezuelan, these foreigners from these poor Colorado apartment dwellers, going to save them, you know, and they're actually hero worshiping a bunch of drug traffickers in reality. And that was a false story. Okay, then we go to Donald Trump himself actually talking about Haitian immigrants and what they were doing to people's pets. And like I said, these are all false stories, completely 100% false stories. That came from a picture of somebody carrying, I think it was somebody carrying a duck down the street, or a goose, something that got run over somewhere or something like that. Okay, so then we move on to the drones, this drone thing, and like I said, I think this was just another conspiracy theory to complain about the government and Joe Biden and all that with the drones, and you know, the government's not telling us the truth and they're spying on us, and it's actually China, and Joe Biden sold the country to China and all this other stuff. And now all of a sudden, not a peep. There's not one peep about drones. Nobody's concerned about them anymore. Last week, 2 weeks ago, people were terrified. Biggest story in the whole country. Today, tomorrow, yesterday, not a freaking peep. Nobody could care less about any drone. What drones? What drones are you talking about? So, like I said, you know, I'm loving the Civil War going on, and it's basically just racism. That the old MAGA crowd thinks that American companies should hire exclusively American workers. When, I mean, if you get into the numbers of it, India produces some of the most brilliant people in the world. China and India are the most populous countries in the world. So if you just look at the math, just by the math alone, there's going to be the most brilliant people where it's the most populous countries like China and India. You know, so I do think that Elon, I do think that we should hire people from out of the country. I think that's, of course, I believe that. But this whole civil war going on, actually, Elon Musk posted, I guess this is from Tropic Thunder, and Elon Musk told MAGA to I don't know if I can say this, to fuck themselves in the face, go fuck themselves in the face. And he says, you know, he's going to fight to his very last drop of blood. Somehow I can't even picture Elon Musk, you know, fighting anybody anywhere, but he's going to fight to his very last drop of blood for these H-1B visas to hire people from out of the country. It's that old visa thing where exceptional people, are kind of expedited through the visa process to become U.S. citizens. And the old MAGA crowd doesn't want that. Remember when they said, you know, they're all for immigration, but it's got to be legal immigration. Remember them saying that? And now their true colors come out when they don't want any immigrants from anywhere, basically. You know, and so the whole truth of this is coming out. And then you have Elon Musk, a guy who just became a citizen through an H-1B visa, actually, in 2002. And Vivek Ramaswamy, born to foreign parents here in America, serving the president who wants to kick all those same people out of the country. It's enough to give you a headache if you think about all this. The links will be down below. Tell me what you think about this big mess. Like I said, the whole point of this video is I realized that this whole current civil war going on Twitter is actually about them cheering on just hiring American citizens. Actually goes back to the Venezuelan gangs and how they actually cheered on American gangs above foreign gangs. That's how thick their racism is, that they would cheer on a motorcycle gang that basically earns their money through trafficking narcotics through the country, who they claim is also the Mexicans really doing it. enough to give you a headache. I'll be back later with another video. I hope this made some freaking sense. It's talking about MAGA, it's hard to make any kind of sense. Let me know what you think. I'll be back in a little while with another video. Have a great Sunday.